What's up everyone from a lovely park here in downtown Manila. Last year I made a video about my 3 scariest travel stories, which I had a lot of fun telling you guys. So I thought I would do a little sequel because I've had many scary situations happen to me since then. Before I dive in, I want to let you know that these stories are based 100% off my own travel experiences and nothing else. So with that being said, let's jump right in to Afghanistan. So first off, I want to say that Afghanistan is in my top 20 favorite countries. I had an amazing time with an amazing tour guide, and I loved it so much that I'm already planning my next trip back. And it's actually a beautiful city. You have mountains in all directions with snow on top, and you got cute kids. Yeah, it's really just a cool place, and I'm happy to be here. But something happened to me there that was really quite scary that I've never really shared publicly before. And it happened when I was driving on a freeway. So basically, I was planning my whole trip to be in the north in Mazar Sharif, and then I flew down to Kabul because I heard about that Jewish guy that was living there, so I went to make the story. And then my friend suggested that we drive back because we'll see a lot of the country, which is about a 10-hour drive. And I knew it would be quite dangerous, but I decided to do it anyways because why not? So about halfway through the drive, we're kind of in the middle of nowhere. I know that we've passed some areas that were controlled by terrorists, and I could see the bullet marks and see the flags everywhere and stuff. So I was always on edge the whole ride. And when we were driving in the middle of nowhere, all of a sudden this big dog that was probably up to my waist jumped in front of the highway. Driver slammed on the brake, hit him, killed him. The dog flew into the bush, so I didn't even see the dog, but I know that he was dead. And we got out of the car and we walk up to the front, and the bumper, the front right bumper, is completely off. So it's like this, and the light was shattered. Of course, I felt really bad for the dog, but that wasn't my main concern. My main concern was, are we gonna be okay? And my buddy that I was with was pretty shaken up because A, we had a dog, and B, because there's so many checkpoints that you have to drive through, he thought that they would be really suspicious when we go to the next checkpoint. But sure enough, he was right. So we get back in the car, we have no choice but to drive. So we go another 30 minutes or so, get to a big checkpoint. So they asked for my passport, I gave it to them, which whenever they see a US passport, it always raises an eyebrow. And then they saw the car, and they held us there for about a half hour, 45 minutes. They were suspicious that my driver had killed a person on the road and drove away from it. One of the scariest moments of my life was waiting in the car, and he's in the police station talking to them. They probably think I'm a spy because I have a US passport. And my friend had to bail us out, basically. Long story short, he got on the phone and called one of his friends who works in the police, and they let us go. But I was already thinking that they were gonna kidnap me, or they were gonna take me out of the car and question me, and it was just a very scary situation all around, but I ended up getting out of it. The next scary travel story that I want to share with you happened to me in Yemen at the very start of my trip about 6 months ago. So there's very few fixers that can get you into Yemen. I think there's 2, and I went with a guy who organized the visa on arrival. So I flew into Salalah, Oman. It's the closest airport. He sent a driver to pick me up, 3-hour drive to the border. Everything went smooth. Driver came, got to the border. Driver didn't speak a word of English, and my guide had told me that he was gonna meet me across the border, right over the border, and greet me and be with me. So that's what I understood. And I get to the border. We're just about to cross the border right now, which was actually pretty easy to get through. And I go through, go over the gate. My driver says, "Welcome to Yemen." I have officially made it to Yemen, country number 171. And I said, "Where's my tour guide?" And he said, "Oh, no, he's not here." And I looked at him like this. I was like, "Are you kidding me? He's supposed to be here. My phone doesn't work. Nobody knows where I am. This is a very dangerous situation to be in Yemen without any contact with anyone and no one that speaks English." So he assured me that my friend would be at the next town, which was like 20 minutes away. So we drive 20 minutes to the next town. Sure enough, he's not there. So I asked the driver to use his phone, and I called my friend. I was like, "Dude, where are you? Like, I need to find you right now. What is your problem?" And he said, "Oh no, my car broke down, so I'll meet you at the next town," which is about an hour away. And that was an excuse I didn't want to hear at all. And I was really scared. So I told my driver immediately, I was like, "Take me back to the border right now. I don't want to go any farther into Yemen." And he was like, No, it's fine. We're going to meet your friend, and I won't take you back to the border." And so I was pretty much screwed because it's not like you can just get out of the car and jump in a random taxi. It's not safe, and there are no taxis. So I had no choice but to continue on. We get to the next town where my tour guide promised I would be there, and sure enough, he wasn't there. But another guy was there to greet me, a random guy. So we pull into this parking lot by a beach, get out of the car, and some guy goes, "Hey, are you Drew? How you doing?" And at that moment, I was sure that I was getting kidnapped. All the cards were laid out that way. I was like, this is the situation where people get kidnapped. It's like this. I had no way to contact anyone. I had all my possessions on me. I'm gonna lose everything. That's pretty much what I was sure was gonna happen. And I ended up talking to the guy who spoke really good English, and he told me that he was a friend of my tour guide and that he would be taking me around for the day because my tour guide's car broke down. I was furious. I got on the phone with my guy yelling I don't really yell at anyone, I'm really nice, but I was yelling at him, yo, where are you? This is not cool. You can't just leave me stranded in Yemen. What's wrong with you? And in the very end, it turned out that this guy who met me was really kind, and he was with me the whole trip. And he was the friend of my tour guide, and it ended up being okay. But man, I'm just reliving that moment in my head, and I'm anxious just talking about it. It's one of those situations that was high risk, high reward, and I think I got the best stories in Yemen that I could have found. So it all worked out in the end. And the final travel story that I want to share with you today happened to me in Libya, getting into Libya once again. So if you guys remember the videos I made, the process of getting the Libya visa is absolutely ridiculous, the hardest one to get. I was lucky to get it in Rome. I didn't have to go to the States. But long story short, it cost me over $600 US to get the visa all in. And it was a business visa because they don't issue tourist visas. So I had to pretend to be an oil consultant, which means I had to look the part. So I had to wear nice clothes, I had to get a wheelie bag instead of my backpack, and I had to make up this fake plan in my head that I am an oil consultant. And this is so not like me. This is how I have to go to Libya. So I was randomly paired up with a Japanese guy. He was on my flight from Tunisia, and we were in the same position. So we're both sweating bullets on the flight. It's scary to go to Libya. I mean, they're having civil war in Tripoli right now, which is the city we're flying to. Just got on the plane, going to Libya. Pretty nervous. And of course, as we expected, the immigration officer puts us aside, asks us a few questions. They speak very little English. And then he says, you two guys go in the back room for some extra questioning. Oh man, so here we go. We go in the back room. I'm sitting with my Japanese friend, and there's 3 Libyan officials staring us dead in the eye. I have a camera with me, which I'm not supposed to have any cameras. This is a camera that I'm shooting this on, my Lumix GH5, so I was scared they were gonna look in my bag and think I'm a spy, or think I'm a journalist, which is prohibited. So they ask us all these questions. What do you do for a living? I'm an oil consultant. Who's your company? I paused for a second. I said I'm a freelancer consultant. Who's a freelance consultant? Didn't make any sense. They started asking me all these questions. Show me your business ID. Show me this, show me that. Look through my passport. Why did you go to Afghanistan? Why did you go to Yemen? Why did you go to Algeria? Why did you go here? And it was so scary. So the questions went on for about 10 minutes, which felt like 10 hours. And all of a sudden, we hear all these gunshots, like, I lost it. I looked at my friend, we freaked out. I grabbed my bag, I started running out the door. One of the guys stopped me. He said, don't worry, it's just fireworks. It's not gunfire. So at first I didn't believe him, and then I realized when nobody else was freaking out, it was fireworks. Honestly, who lights fireworks right near an airport? It didn't make any sense. But that kind of eased the tension a little bit. Then the questions came more. Finally, I had the number of the driver who was picking us up and his name. Thankfully, I had that. So I told him to call the guy, and the guy tried to explain our situation, that we are oil consultants, that he's picking us up. So they actually thought we were oil consultants. And then they let us out. But if I didn't have the number of the driver, I think we wouldn't have been let into Libya, and it could have been worse because they would have found my camera and they would have found out we were lying, and maybe I wouldn't even be here to make this video. Are you okay?
I'm not okay.
It's scary. But we made it. What's up, Libya? Country number 184. That was like the most scared I've ever been in an airport. So that's all I'll leave you with today. 3 scary travel moments that have happened to me over the last year. I just want to reiterate that I do not hate these countries at all. I'm going at my own risk. And in the end, I actually ended up loving these countries. It's just all part of the journey to visit every country in the world. It's impossible to live this life without having any crazy stories happen to you. So that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. I have 8 countries left until I finish all the countries in the world. Wow, it is so surreal to think that. And I'm super excited. More to come soon, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and I'll see you later. I'm Drubinski, and if you like my travel videos, please click subscribe and join me as I plan to visit every country in the world.